Welcome to the Bald Brad Show. Heck, folks, it is Friday, August 16th, bright and early, as we always do here on the show, which is kind of nice because we are one of the first podcasts to get out there the news to all you patriots. And that way, when you unravel in all your other podcasts, you have some baseline information going into hearing their opinions, folks. Couldn't be more than happy to spend this fine Friday morning with all of you. I see Troy, the architect. Who else we got in here? Kathleen. We got Donnie, PT302. We got Patrick, Appropriate Kid. And we got all the patriots cruising in here. It is a Friday episode, folks. So we're going to be doing a lot of updates, a lot of stories we talked about in the past. But also we have a lot of breaking news this morning, surprisingly. So we're going to look at how the media has virtually reinvented Kamala Harris. It is wild. Some people are calling her the Hawk-Tua girl, where basically there was this girl that was interviewed that talked about Hawk-Tuing. You can look that up yourself. But they basically invented this celebrity out of nothing. In the same way here, they're inventing a politician at a disastrous policy as if she's holier than thou, as if she's the best thing since Christ. It's wild. So we're going to get into all that for you, folks. Like I said, good morning. Good to see you. Let's jump into some updates here. Let's make sure we get this going for all of you. We have lawmakers expanding the probe into Google Meta over alleged censorship of Trump assassination attempt. Now, this is good because there's a lot of these social media companies, you big tech companies at the end of the day, that are suppressing certain information for the public. We saw this a little bit in the 2020 election where they suppressed the Hunter Biden laptop. And matter of fact, it wasn't even just big tech back then. Hell, they got the former CIA director and all these intelligence officials to sign a letter and say, oh, well, it's not real. It's fake. It's Russian disinformation. They're meddling in our elections. Turns out, no, it was real. They all just lied to us. Yeah, some really 1984 Orwellian stuff right there where they're going to sit there and remove and scrub the internet, deplatform conservatives and Republicans, call them conspiracy theorists, extremists. These people are off their rockers. All the while, it was in fact true all along. It's amazing. Hey, when we come out and say, yo, it's from Wuhan lab. The COVID-19's from the Wuhan lab, the China. They go, oh, you bigot. How could you do that, you xenophobe? It's not from China. It's not from Wuhan. You're sick. Turns out, where's it from? The Wuhan lab leak. It's amazing how all the stuff that we say tends to come out true. So you have this taking place. Now, I don't really want to go too far into it. I just want to let you know that they're actually looking into the censorship of it. And we did a video on it because I quite frankly wasn't sure if it was true, where you type in Donald Trump assassination or assassination of Donald Trump, nothing comes up in terms of a population of other searches. It doesn't even fill in your search for you. Even if you typed in President Donald Trump, nothing comes up. It'd be like President Ronald Reagan, Truman, all this other stuff. Nothing for Donald Trump. And you know what Google and Facebook hashed it out to be? Oh, it's just a bug. Oopsie, our bad. Just a coding error. Really? Yeah. Every single search. You know how many different variables are involved in that in terms of something unraveling in the way of you just telling us it's a bug? The reason why they do that, folks, is because they play it off like we're idiots and that we're not actually intelligent, and we are. And we caught them with their pants down. And so now there's investigations galore going on them. In the same way, we caught them with their pants down with the Hunter Biden laptop, COVID-19, men are men, women are women, that whole thing. Yeah, we always get them with their pants down. Some other updates here. You got economy, immigration remain top concerns for voters, poll finds. Now, what's interesting here is The Economist and YouGov found that two issues are still the top concerns for Americans, making the continuation of a trend identified by earlier polls. Basically saying, hey, this is nothing new. 74% of those polled said that jobs and the economy are very important. Another 23% said that it is somewhat important. Another 56% said immigration was very important, while an additional 31% said somewhat important. So all this is saying it's still the top two issues, but here's the problem. People say things and vote differently. Case in point, look at California. Always look at California as a great way to see the measurement of how Democrats vote and how they act. They will say, I hate homeless. We have the biggest homeless population in the entire country in this state. I'll even take it a step further. Los Angeles County, yes, one county has more homeless in it than the entire United States. I think we have like 25 or 30% of the homeless population in one county. That doesn't include the entire state of California. Democrats say, oh, it's terrible. They're pooping everywhere. They're throwing hot diarrhea on my people, my women, my children, all these things. Which was a real thing, by the way. I didn't make that up. Yeah, they'll say that they don't like it, but yet they vote for more Democrats. I don't want crippling debt. I can't afford to pay rent. Electricity's too high. But yet they vote Democrat. So anytime you hear a reporter or anybody doing these street interviews and you have somebody bitching and complaining in the state of California or in New York City about illegal immigration, the crime's too high, taxes are too high, all these things, no, I don't want to hear complaints. I just want to hear, who'd you vote for? That I don't even need the name. Did you vote Democrat or did you vote Republican? At that point in time, don't want to hear the complaining of the smash and grabs. You voted for Prop 47. I don't want to hear the rise in crime. You wanted to defund the police. I don't want to hear higher taxes. That's literally a base foundation. The Democrat Party always has been. I just don't want to hear the complaints. You enabled that, or at least exacerbated the issue by voting in these psychos like Adam Schiff, Gavin Newsom, Kamala Harris at one point in time, Nancy Pelosi, all these crazies to sit there and make this state worse, which was a remarkable thing because it was one of the best states in point in history. Not anymore. Well, we got more news for you, folks. Just wait till it loads. We have here a Haitian illegal immigrant charged with raping pregnant women at Massachusetts Migrant Hotel. Oh, lovely. So these are just more updates. Again, we'll get into the news, but this is kind of like the breaking stuff. So a Haitian man in the U.S. illegally arrested by U.S. Customs and Enforcement for allegedly raping a pregnant woman at a Massachusetts Migrant Hotel. Oh, isn't that just dandy? That's nice. Oh, goody. Oh, goody, goody. So according to a multiple law enforcement sources, the rape happened inside the Migrant Hotel. Just very similar to kind of what you saw in like Chaz and Chop, where these lefties took over entire city blocks way back when. It was like 2016, like 2020 or something. And you couldn't get any medical personnel in there because they would just shoot him, kill him. You couldn't get any police officers in there because they weren't allowed to. And so people were being raped. There's a lot of drug overdoses taking place. I think there's a couple murders. Businesses were going out. But nobody wants to talk about that on the Democrat side of the aisle. No, they just want to talk about January 6th and all these other things. Kamala Harris exacerbated this problem. Well, here's another one. Oh, no, we'll just keep doing it. ICE captures illegal immigrant with rape conviction in Maryland. Oh, goody, goody. A sexual predator. So Immigration and Customs Enforcement officials on Wednesday announced the arrest of an illegal immigrant from Guatemala who was convicted of raping a Marylander. You have Border Patrol agents first apprehended this individual, who was just 19, in 2019 after entering the U.S. as an unaccompanied minor near El Paso, Texas, which is one of the areas in 2019 that saw kind of more of a increase in uptick trend in terms of illegal immigration, and only got exacerbated once Joe Biden got in office. So at the time, he was served a notice to appear before immigration judge with the Department of Defense. So just lovely. So that guy got in, and now we're dealing with it. Does he look upset? Just another day. Just another day. But don't worry, you guys. They're all here they just want to hear for work. They're just here to make sure they have a better life. They want to assimilate into this country. You can't say anything bad about them. If you do, you're a bigot. If you say anything bad, you're a racist. If you say anything bad, you're not understanding of the situation. Okay? You got to let all these people in, the terrorists, the sex traffickers, the drug traffickers, because they all deserve a chance at the American dream. They all deserve a chance at your taxpayer dollars, the free healthcare, the free education. They deserve all of that, you guys. They're deserving of it. As to why, nobody's ever explained it to me, quite honest. Not a single Democrat that pushes it. Nobody's ever explained to me why somebody deserves to be in this country. American citizens do because they're a citizen of this country. But if you're immigrating here, I don't know why you're beholden to become a member of this country. Like, it's upon all of us to sit there and take in the rest of the globe. I don't understand it. Should we have empathy and try to work with that system? Of course we should. But we got to sit there and find the best of the best so we can be the best of the best. No, we're not done. You think we're done with the illegal immigration? Oh, no. Here we go. ICE arrests illegal alien wanted for 23 murders in Peru. Now, I sat there and made sure that I posted this today because after the Biden-Harris admin released him into the U.S., I've always talked about the fact that we have terrorists here, and I also follow up telling you we have people that murdered other people in their home country that are here right now, and we're harboring them, and they should be sent back for trial for murder in their own country. I've been talking about this for months now at this point because I got intel from a former CIA individual that was on the Sean Ryan podcast that was telling us, hey, yeah, no, there's terrorists here that the Biden-Harris administration has allowed in. Some of them are from Benghazi, some of them from this country, but we also are allowing people coming in that are supposed to be on trial in their home country, case in point, Peru, for, I don't know, killing a bunch of people. And the Biden-Harris administration are going, no. They made an oopsie. They need a better life. That's all. They came because of climate change. There's a drought, of famine. We gotta harbor these people. They're just trying to change. So this guy here is accused of murdering 23 people, Democrats. Now, if the guy did that in Peru, 23 people, just you want to take a stab at if he's going to do it to again? He's going to do it to anybody else? No pun intended. I know you'd like that one. ICE, which announced the arrest Tuesday evening, said the 38-year-old was arrested about 150 miles northwest of New York City. Boy, oh boy, he made it up there really quick. Was released in the U.S. by the Biden-Harris administration on May 16th at the Texas-Mexico border after illegally entering the country. Oh, yeah. Hey, buddy, how many people did you kill? 23. 23, sir. Cool, come on in. As long as you vote Democrat, we'll make sure we get your paperwork. You'll have a court date 10 years into the future. Biden won't even be alive then. Don't worry about it, buddy. Come on in. So it should alarm every American that a Peruvian gang leader was murdering 23 people, crossed our border, and released into the country. Yeah, you would think so. But do the Democrats care? No. Empathy. There's always a phrase that I've learned. About a year ago, I heard this. Empathy in politics is harmful because when you're ultimately trying to empathize certain behavior and trying to be understanding of it, sometimes you exacerbate some sort of issue by trying to be understanding of the very thing that you're trying to be empathetic for. Case in point, allowing millions of people to pour across the border, gang leaders, sex traffickers, drug traffickers. Again, I'm going to reiterate this till I'm blue in the face. Kamala Harris and Joe Biden lost. And be careful so we can hear this in the microphone clear. They lost 85,000 children, minimum. Some of them were sold off into the sex trade, slavery. How do we know that? Oh, I don't know, because the whistleblowers came out. Now, we have over 1,000 terrorists in this country. When did that all of a sudden become acceptable? When did that become like a Democrat platform? Really weird. It's astonishing. Since Barack Obama, I think, is when it started. Somebody could write a book on this if they wanted. You look at Barack Obama, the lax regulations and just policy, things we've done with terrorism is remarkable. From going from 2001 to 2008 is really an insane thing because we went up and now it's like, oh, forget it. Democrats start funding terrorism like the Iranians, like Barack Obama giving them $1.7 billion, allowing them to have more of a process to build a nuclear warhead, which is why you have Thomas Sowell, a Black American, one of the best minds in modern history, saying Barack Obama is the worst president in American history because of that one policy he created with Iran to help them build a nuclear warhead, even though they said they can't get a nuclear warhead. Then you got a Barack Obama and Harris come in the office, giving the Taliban not just billions of dollars of military-grade equipment, pulling out of Afghanistan, which was one of the most botched things in American history. You thought Vietnam was bad. This is just not as bad, but it's up there. Afghanistan. Well, then you have them giving the Taliban $87 million a week still to people that killed American troops. And on top of that, you have them giving the Iranians $10 billion of humanitarian aid while they're blowing our freaking merchant vessels out of the sea, not just ours, but our allies. And they're attacking military installations. Here's more money. Have fun. Have fun. Oh, goody, goody. So I don't know. I hand to God, I don't know when it became a Democrat platform to start funding basically terrorism across the globe, but somehow it is. And speaking of that, you got New York City mayor urges pro-Hamas agitators, hey, can you just hold on till after November before you start breaking things, ruining businesses, hurting people, assaulting people? Can you guys just hold on because it's making our party look bad? On Wednesday night, a huge mass of anti-Israel agitators disrupted a rally for Vice President Kamala Harris in New York City, holding a photo of terrorist Hamas chief, yelling, normalize the intifada. Folks, these people are not Republican. They're not even centrist. They're not conservatives. These are lefties, folks. This is Kamala Harris's camp here. I don't mind that you want to raise your voice. Hold on to all that anger until after November. November, you need to be a laser focused on one thing. Oh, boy. And you know what? Democrats love it, you guys. Democrats love it. No, they're all about it. Trust me, they're all about it. If they weren't, they would have changed it. They're all about the illegal immigration. They're all about the crime. They're all about the intifada. They're all about wiping Israel off the face of the earth. They love that stuff. Oh yeah, they won't say it out loud, but behind closed doors, they're saying it. Like, they're not for Israel. I'm pro-Israel, by the way. Israel is surrounded by a bunch of people that don't like them, that want to exterminate them. Oh yes. And if somebody tells you otherwise, they are lying through their teeth. Israel needs to be protected at all costs, and we need to do that. So Pentagon says there's a deepening cooperation and relationship between Russia and Iran. Well, why would there not be? You know what I mean? They know who's coming into office. The big boss is coming in, baby, hopefully, Donald Trump. You got to have an alliance if you're Iran because you're about to freaking fall big time. The only reason Iran has been uplifted is because of the Biden-Harris administration. They know what's coming. If Trump gets in office, you're screwed. So a partnership between Russia and Iran is allegedly deepening, according to the Pentagon. In a press conference on Thursday, the deputy Pentagon press secretary responded to a journalist's question regarding a recent meeting between the leaders of the two nations. Excuse me. So I can't speculate on, on that visit. I would say that I think separately, we've seen a deepening cooperation and relationship between Russia and Iran as Russia continues to engage in a lawful war in Ukraine. So, we've seen that deepening partnership. Now, I've heard a lot of weird stuff about the Russia-Ukraine war. I've heard that Zelensky wants to sit there and come to some sort of negotiation. I've heard the same thing about Vladimir Putin, that he's come forward many times already, even on camera, and said that he wants to sit there and end this thing and he wants negotiations. I'm hearing the mediator is the United States, and the United States is allowing this to sit there and go on. I don't know. I mean, you got the war machine, right? All those things are involved. That's what I'm hearing. Is it true? I don't know. But if they wanted to end this, they probably could. Somebody's going to lose land. Most likely it's Ukraine. If you think Ukraine is going to beat Russia, I don't know where you got that from, but it ain't happening. There's no way in hell Ukraine is beating the Russians. But we'll sit there and continue to throw billions of dollars at a problem that's not really our problem. Ukraine's not part of NATO. And could it become a problem? Yeah, if Russia expands past that. And I don't think NATO should hopefully be involved in any way, shape, or form. But I'm sure you guys got your own opinions on that one. We need to get out of there as soon as possible because, look, it's too much money and we don't have it. We're $35 trillion in debt. Like, quite literally, we don't have the money. So this one just came out about an hour ago, what I'm about to show you. So Kamala Harris finally, was it 25, 26 days? Hell, I don't know. Somewhere into her nomination, her coup, has finally unveiled her economic policies. So let's check this out. Now, it's just kind of synopsis. We're still waiting for the nitty gritty. I didn't have time to prepare for this because, like I said, 53 minutes ago. So Vice President Kamala Harris has unveiled her economic policy agenda, which includes several key proposals aimed at supporting families and addressing economic challenges. Oh, okay. So let's just see what she's going to do for all of us, okay? The plan features a $6,000 tax credit for newborns in the first year. Just newborns. The thinking behind this is because we know we're screwed as a country because we have a depopulation problem here because people aren't having kids. And so if you have a kid, well, you get a $6,000 credit. Well, it's not going to offset the amount of money that you're going to put into that child years later. And by the way, yeah, you get that $6,000 tax credit at the beginning, but remember, the Trump tax cuts are disappearing. You're going to need that tax credit because you're about to be effed. But you're only going to get that if you have a baby. A significant increase from the current $2,000 credit. Additionally, now I think that is some foozery going on there because I don't know about the newborn credit. This $2,000 credit is what you get for having just a child in general. It used to be $1,000. They uplifted it. Well, it actually used to be $500. Then they increased it to $1,000. Then it was $2,000. The $2,000 credit is going away, from my understanding, if they don't re-implement the Trump tax cuts. Additionally, Harris proposes a $25,000 subsidy for first-time home buyers. You know what a subsidy is, right? That's just funding from you and I. We're paying for somebody else to buy a home. And that's what you're going to see a lot of going down from now on, right? She starts off trying to make it like, oh, we're all giving you money on your taxes. Don't worry, it's going to be okay. No, it's not, because the government's subsidizing, meaning the taxpayer is quite literally paying for other people's things. This is some communist Marxist stuff. You'll see. Bare minimum socialist. making home ownership more accessible. No, it's not. If you know that the government is going to subsidize said something, then ultimately you're just going to create, obviously there's still more demand, but you're just going to cause people to increase the price of home ownership because they know that they're ultimately going to get a $25,000 subsidy. It's just going to increase price at the end of the day. It's not necessarily going to actually even solve the problem. The plan also includes measures to cap prescription drug costs. No, that's not going to get done. Maybe some of them. I love this one. Oh, get ready, folks. Eliminate medical debt for millions of Americans. This is just a revamping and a restructuring of what they did for student loan debt, even though it was illegal and it's overreach of the executive branch. You can't do it. That was called forth by the Supreme Court, said, yeah, you're just not allowed to do it. And Joe Biden gave them a middle finger, said, we're going to do it anyways. Yeah, so now, not only is she going to try to still put forward that, right? Not only is she going to try to get rid of people's student loan debt forgiveness. And I said, where does that thinking stop, right? We were all here when I said it. Why aren't we getting rid of people's auto loans? Why are we not getting rid of people's mortgages or their credit card debt? We called it. We called this, I don't know, 2 years ago, maybe a year ago. Now we're gonna alleviate people's medical debt, folks. So more taxpayer dollars going to work, and we don't have the money. We're also going to introduce a ban on price gouging in food and grocery stores. Oh, good. So now the government's going to impede on the free market, which is only going to make things worse, by the way. You're going to sit there and say, well, you can and can't sell something for this or that. By the way, you don't see that too often. You will tend to see that in where? Socialist countries. And, well, you can look at those countries and see how that one worked out. It didn't work out very well for a range of issues. One is that you're limiting the expansion of certain goods and foods. You're limiting the growth of said business that's selling those goods and services. You're also not enabling them to ultimately meet whatever the market price is or the market cap on labor to be able to compete against other competitors. I mean, there's a lot of variables that go into this, and Democrats don't think about these things. It's just, whoa, cool, cheaper stuff. If you want cheaper stuff, you need more competition. What a lot of people don't realize is when you're looking at that shelf on the grocery store, go to any grocery store, say like, it doesn't even matter. Look at the cereal aisle. You have the whole side of that aisle filled with cereal boxes, right? And you're going, whoa, look at all that competition. No, there's probably 3 different corporations on that entire shelf at best. You're probably looking at Kellogg's makes up half the shelf, and you're probably looking at like some other brand that makes up the other half. They just ultimately bought other businesses or whatever, and they have a huge market share on that shelf. There's no competition. That's why they're getting away with $6 boxes of cereal, because there's no other business going into the cereal business. Did I say right? There's no other businesses going into cereal. Yeah, I got that right. It's morning. Yeah, you guys understand. This is And lastly, these initiatives are part of the broader effort to provide financial relief and support to the middle and low income families. No, it's not. You're just going to ream them. And they buy into this. So frustrating. Well, can we get into some lighthearted news here, guys? You know, that was just the updates. I know we got a lot of news, and I'm not even halfway through the show yet. So here's Peter Doocy finally getting a question into Joe Biden. And you're going to hear the helicopter engines in the back. I apologize. So if your eardrums get blown out, well, you know, blame the Biden-Harris administration.
How much does it bother you that Vice President Harris might soon, for political reasons, start to distance herself from your economic
She's not
plan?
going to.
You don't think she's going to?
She's not going to. By the way, if you look on his cheek, he has CPAP marks. So he just woke up. Again, I'm not trying to be funny. I mean, it is funny, but he just woke up. You can see the mark on his face. So he thinks that she's not going to distance himself, and neither does Jean-Pierre, which we saw in the other day's episode, that Kamala Harris is not trying to distance herself from his economic plan, which, by the way, she is. It's just an outright lie. And then somebody questions him here later on while he's walking to Marine One, where a reporter says, President Trump says he wants to make America affordable again. What's your response? And just listen to this, because it doesn't make any sense.
Mr. Trump says he wants to make America affordable again. Your response? So you ought to get a job.
Did you guys hear that? He said he ought to get a job. The dude's a billionaire, Joe, and wasn't suckling at the government teat like you did for the last 50 years. And somehow you became a millionaire with all your son's business dealings and your random shell companies that you don't know shit about. Just awesome. It's amazing how that works out. It's remarkable. Get a job. Dudes are freaking building skyscrapers in New York City. New York City is one of the reasons it looks the way it does in terms of skyscrapers because of Donald Trump. What the hell have you done, Joe? What does Delaware look like? Exactly. So here he is again. He gets on Marine One. He flies out there. He's chauffeured out on a gurney for Kamala Harris. God, that has to be so hard for him. He doesn't like Kamala. He doesn't even like Nancy Pelosi. He doesn't like his own party anymore. He's just shink, 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 was stabbed in the back by his own party. So Biden instructs the audience to beat the hell out of Republicans. Remember, just a few weeks ago, this dude was like, we need to tone down the rhetoric. It's so bad. Because Trump just got shot in the freaking head. Because this guy goes, he's a threat to democracy. He's a threat to the republic. He's going to cripple. He's going to destroy this country. We can't allow this to happen. Now he's out there, beat the hell out of Republicans. Hear it from the horse's mouth.
Let me tell you what our Project 2025 is. Beat the hell out of them. I mean it.
And at the end, he goes, I mean it. Now, I know what he means because I could read between the lines. He doesn't literally mean beat the hell out of them. But, you know, clearly there's people that are going to read into this guy's words and go, he's a threat to democracy. He's going to threat this country. And believe it. And then do some sort of psychotic stuff. Now, I don't necessarily blame Joe for somebody else's behavior because I don't think that's right. Like if I say something, a case in point, if I say something here on the show, somebody can misconstrue it and do something stupid. I shouldn't be responsible for somebody else's action. I didn't do anything. They're just a knucklehead and did something stupid. Well, speaking of knuckleheads and doing something stupid, you have CNN that was on the Stephen Colbert Report, which we covered, right? Caitlin Collins. And Stephen Colbert made a reference to how CNN is objective and his own audience laughed, which is a leftist audience. Well, Joe Rogan mocks CNN after that Stephen Colbert audience as they laugh and that they're real journalists. Well, why is this news and why is it such a big deal? Well, because Joe Rogan has a big audience and his audience isn't necessarily left wing. He gets a lot of variety in his audience. So the fact that he's able to show this on his podcast is reaching voters and they're seeing how absurd CNN is, the fake news media, as well as the Biden-Harris administration. Here we go.
Started from the beginning and go big screen because this is so preposterous.
Trump has kind of been thrown on his heels by this, and he's not really sure how to go after Vice President Harris. He knew his attack lines on President Biden. He really has struggled with how to go after someone who's 20 years younger than him, who is a different gender, a different race. It's kind of been this moment where he has not been able to coalesce around a single attack line.
I know you guys are objective over there, that you just report the news as it is. Oh, I know. CNN makes it. I know.
Was that supposed to be a laugh line?
I wasn't supposed to be, but I guess it is.
Trump has kind of been thrown on.
Wow. Bro. How crazy is that? The audience is like, shut the fuck up. Wow. That is hilarious. They thought he was being a joker. They thought that was a joke.
Yeah.
That's how crazy this world has gotten. Where fucking CNN being unbiased is a joke to people in the audience. That's so crazy.
Yeah.
And why? What got accomplished? If you were running a business, what did you accomplish by doing things that way? You've ruined your business. Because now people think you're full of shit.
Yeah.
And you could have just been actual, just straightforward journalists and been beyond reproach and probably got away with, you wouldn't have got as much money.
They probably
wouldn't have got as much money. You gotta get those.
The funny thing is CNN needs Trump. I mean, CNN is salivating at the mouth the fact that Trump is running for re-election again. And honestly, as much as they hate the guy, it's one of those weird relationships where you hate the person, but you also really love them. And so they need the guy back in office because their ratings suck. You guys, there's YouTube channels and Rumble channels that get more viewers than CNN does during their prime time. It's crazy. So what do they need to do here is they need to revamp Kamala Harris. They basically, the media sat there and the Democrat Party and these celebrities, these elite institutions, reinvented a politician. And so the beginnings of this happened about 2 or 3 weeks ago, right? When she ran or was nominated for the Democrat Party. Well, the DNC, you guys, held a TikTok training session for Kamala Harris fans. Here's what they said. Here we go. I have it for you. It's just a small clip. But here's the training session for her fans, right? Because you need to make sure you get all the certain tidbits out there and all the necessary things. So here we go.
So here
I haven't seen this yet, by the way, so I'm intrigued just as much as you are.
are just some of our challenges. There's a clip or a picture there of Kamala Harris doing her first TikTok ever for the @Kamala Harris account that launched not too long ago. But as of in May 2024, New York Times did an analysis that there were 2 times as many pro-Trump videos as pro-Biden videos. Now, granted, this has certainly seen a shift and a change since Kamala Harris became our presumptive nominee, and even before that, when she announced that she was going to be running for the office of president of the president. But it's still the case that there are a lot of Trump supporters on this app, right? There's a lot of there are low information voters with low engagement with our regular media cycle, and they're just scrolling through TikTok and they see news. There's also a lot of disinformation from right-wing actors. They spread some pretty horrific lies and propaganda, and TikTok isn't necessarily always the fastest at getting.
You want to give us some examples, or are you just going to say that we spread disinformation, misinformation? Like maybe just 1 or 2.
This information down. Part of the work that I do is with our counter misinformation team at the DNC, and we have a great counter misinformation training tomorrow, and I hope to see some of you there. But really what we see on TikTok is a lot of right-wing actors who are purposely spreading disinformation about Kamala Harris, about Tim Walsh now, about Democrats generally. And then, really our other challenge is that Donald Trump has a very large following on this platform. He has 10 million followers. Does that mean that he's running his TikTok well? No.
So remember, you guys, we're just agitators spreading misinformation, disinformation, right? Yeah. But it doesn't give us any examples of what we said about Kamala Harris that is wrong. Most of the stuff we post, and you guys are always here with us. And by the way, Pat, I greatly appreciate you saying hit that subscription button if you can, and also hit that update button, all that stuff. I appreciate that, Pat. Thank you so much. Look, we just post videos of her. I'm radical. She said it. I want to sit there and get rid of the fossil fuel industry, and I want to ban fracking. She just said it. What disinformation, misinformation are we pushing here? She's the one that said it. Get out of here with this crap. And so they're starting to reinvent this lady, right? And she's getting her fans to do it. The Democrat Party, which is wild to think, going, well, we need to change who she was so we can get her into office. Like they feel like they're a part of the cult, the movement. You know what I mean? Like I'm not looking to change Donald Trump. He is who he is. I mean, shit, I knew that way back when in 2016 when I voted for him the first time. Voted for him in 2020, and I'm voting for him again in 2024. I know who the guy is. Like everyone's shocked. Oh my God, he slept with women. Oh, that was disgusting. He's a billionaire. I'm like, what? You're shocked that the guy slept with women? A billionaire, a playboy? You're shocked? The dude gets out of his limo and he got 50 women chasing after him. Like, we all know what it's like to be a guy. I'm not saying you should do it. I'm just saying, like, we don't know what it's like. Does any of my, Jason, Pat, Shib, maybe some of you got some 50 women chasing after you? Do you all get out of your car and you just got women lined up for you? No, you don't. You don't. Some of you might. If you do, well, good for you. But you get what I'm saying. Oh my God, he sat there and had sexual relations with women. I can't believe it. As if they're holier than thou. As if they're better than the rest of us. We're all sinful. We all screw up. Why don't you just be forgiving for once? You know what I mean? Jesus. Well, folks, they're sitting here painting as if she's a celebrity, right? Like she's a pop star. They're reinventing her image, taking of how she destroyed an entire state and country, and then saying, no, look at what else she's going to do. No. She's great. She's holier than thou. She's like the best thing since sliced bread. She's the second coming of Christ. So here we go. This is the meat of today's show. I know it took us a while. It only took us about 30 minutes. So after a bad debate performance, they kick out Joe Biden, right? They plop in Kamala Harris without a single vote. Well, Democrats celebrated 2 most egregious examples, glowing profiles from Essence and Time magazine, the latter of which was written despite Harris's refusal to give the outlet even a single quote. But they'll still bend over backwards for her. So this is what happens with these media outlets. The Democrats sit there and treat them like shit. It's a weird relationship, but they keep coming back for more and wanting to love the Democrat Party. It's an abusive relationship, but it's a remarkable thing that they love it. And it's really lopsided. The media hates Trump. Trump gives them interviews. The media loves it. The media loves Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris doesn't give them interviews. They hate it, but they still love her. If that, I know, it's weird. So we got a lot of people posting on X, and let me actually zoom in and make sure you guys get this for yourselves too. The Democrat, she's an icon, you guys. She's a legend. And she's in the moment. Come on. Seriously? Oh, let's just forget what she did in the past. No big deal. Just totally effed you all while you all complained because Joe Biden sucked and you voted for him. Well, you voted for her too. So here we go. You are witnessing the most blatant redesign of an inferior product since New Coke. Correct. It's like somebody sitting there and taking sliced bread and then not slicing it anymore and going, look what we did. Look what we did. We did it, Joe. We did it. I'm working on my Kamala Harris impression. Let me know how it was, okay? I wasn't expecting her to be running for president, so I haven't put in the time like I have with Joe. This is my Joe Biden impression. Hello? This thing working? Sorry. I cracked myself up. We also have another one. She's not an icon. She's not a legend either. She's an idiot. She received precisely 0 votes. 0 votes to be Democrat nominee. You've now turned her into something like the second coming with propaganda, and people are not buying into it, and some people are. It will so give you that. I find it gross. So, I mean, she was getting this was raking them through the coals yesterday. Got to work on your cackle, Brad. Yeah, I know. I'll work on it. Like I said, I got hit upside the head. Okay, I didn't think she was gonna run. I'll work on it. We got the Trump down though. Please seek help comes from Ben Shapiro. Absolutely. You got another individual. 4 weeks ago, Kamala Harris was an embarrassment and a consensus joke to the vast majority of Americans, including the majority of Democrats. Remember, there was already polling done. Democrats hated this lady. It's a remarkable thing that all of a sudden they just switched. It wasn't as if like she did anything good for them. They hated her. Now they love her. It's weird. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. This is North Korea level propaganda, and it has been. The media is totally complicit in it. The propaganda machine, the mainstream media machine, is wild. Thank God we have Rumble and X, you guys. Thank the Lord. Look at these pictures. Look up the art movement called socialist realism. Look at these pictures again. I mean, they did the same thing with Barack Obama, right? The reason why you're seeing this movement and this push on media is because Barack Obama's team, as much as you don't like the guy, his team did a phenomenal job at that campaign, really going in and starting the first presidency, really, to utilize social media in the expansive way that he did, and it helped him become president of the United States and then ultimately cripple the country. All this stuff really with the division that we've seen primarily in the country really started with Barack Obama. Media to the DNC propaganda pipeline remains undefeated. I mean, folks, it goes on and on. They were just getting destroyed the other day with this post here. And it's a total reinvention. She's great. She's going to fix the economy. She wants to be harsh on the border. She wants more drilling. She wants to sit there and give you more money. She wants to subsidize your houses. She wants to get rid of your medical bills. She wants to sit there and make sure she gives you a $6,000 first child tax credit. She's going to fix the foreign policy issue. She's going to fix what she did in Afghanistan. You notice that she's just trying to fix all the broken shit that she created? And by the way, if she wanted to fix it, guess what, Democrats? She could have done it already. If she wanted to fix your prescription drugs and do all these things now, guess what? She's in office. Oh, I know it's news to Democrats. It's news. She's in office now. Yeah. No, she could just do all this now. Secure the border. Snap of the fingers. You literally are the executive branch. You have the executive branch. You execute the laws on the books. Guess what's on the books? You're allowed to secure the border. You're actually not breaking any laws. Matter of fact, you secure the border is your job. They don't want to do it. Oh, they don't want to do it. We got the energy for a Friday, do we not? I'm surprised at how much energy I have, folks. I am totally surprised at all this energy. Well, if you're wondering where the hell I get this from, you know where I get it from. We talk about it almost every day. 1775 coffee, baby. It lights your candle. It's time to say goodbye to Starbucks. It's only going to get worse under Joe Biden. And if Harris gets elected, it's going to turn into like $6, $7 is what I call it. And say hello to Rumble 1775 coffee. This stuff is premium, folks. It's not like other brands. These people back free speech. They're unapologetic about it. They don't give two damns what people have to say. Visit 1775coffee.com. Use promo code STUDIO, all caps. You get that 15% off. It comes in medium dark roast. We always say, I do the dark roast. Ladies, you're probably doing the medium or the dark. Men, you better be doing dark, okay? We're patriots here. You got to get that beard. This is all jokes, by the way. Don't take it seriously, the dark roast and medium roast. Some people are getting offended. Don't be a snowflake and get offended here. We're talking about free speech and coffee. It's like a cone of coffee. Basically, what I want to say is this stuff is premium, you guys. It's not like I drink a ton of coffee. I'm an educator. I sip on coffee throughout the day. This stuff is going to keep you going, let me tell you. And it's great. And it coats the tongue. Click the link in the live chat or the description section. You can also just go directly to 1775coffee.com and use promo code STUDIO to get that 15% off today, folks. They're always hooking us up here and greatly appreciated. Now, surprisingly, even though the media is reinventing Kamala Harris, they're not reinventing Tim Walsh. So Kamala Harris's vice president gets 4 Pinocchios and was fact-checked by the Washington Post, except the Washington Post just buried it. So this is what we have here. So you got Tim Walsh, who is Kamala Harris's running mate, and it was said, they said this right here. They said Donald Trump's VP pick is not pro-worker and has never casted a vote on a pro-worker bill in his life. Quote, I tell you, Trump's running mate, I don't know if that was a value add to this campaign or not. Well, wait till he kicks your ass in that debate, Tim. Oh boy, he's going to wipe the floor with you because his intelligence level compared to yours is not even close. But he's one of our 4 senators, 4, that has never cast a vote on a pro-worker bill in his life, not once. Walsh said on Tuesday, like, we're going to believe anything this guy says. This guy lied about his own record. A stopped clocks right twice a day. This guy can't get it right once, not once for workers. The only thing those 2 guys know about working people is how to work to take advantage of them. Well, how many jobs have you created, Tim? Because Donald Trump employs thousands of people, regardless of their race and ethnicity. You actually shut businesses down during COVID. Donald Trump wanted to keep things going, but you wouldn't allow him to. So you have that taking place. And it's just not true, by the way. J.D. Vance, almost said Tim, J.D. Vance has done nothing but work for pro-workers, so much so that Teamsters, the president of Teamsters, was coming out going, yeah, no, we love the guy. During the RNC, he's going, yeah, he's been great with Teamsters. He's been working with us all along. So Tim Walsh just pulled this out of his you-know-what, all that diarrhea and caca, and threw it right in Democrats' faces, and they ate it up. Disgusting.
I mean, J.D. Vance, the short time that we've worked together, I mean, he's been great on Teamster issues. He has co-sponsored an airline manufacturing bill that addresses outsourcing of critical airline maintenance to China. He's also supported paid sick leave for our railroad workers. If you remember that situation a couple of years ago, where they weren't getting sick time, he stepped right up. He's also been very vocal and supportive of holding employers accountable who try and skirt their obligation under an independent contractor model known as DSP. So he's been right there on all our issues. We've publicly stated it. And look, at this day and age, there's nothing better than having a U.S. Marine represented as a vice president candidate.
I mean, the president of Teamsters coming out going, this guy's been phenomenal. We couldn't have asked anything more of this guy. He's had our back the entire time. And then you got vice president, the nominee of the Democrat Party, coming out, this guy's not for workers. This guy sucks. Get the hell out of here, dude. What the hell do you know? Glad about your own record. Eric Birch, thank you so much, brother, for the $5. Greatly appreciate it. He says, hey, Brad, another great show. Thank you, man. I appreciate it, guys. That means a lot to me. You know, sometimes you don't know if it's a great show or not. I try. But again, we're a one-man ship here. It's just me. Everything you see is just me. So having you guys have my back like that and putting your hard-earned money during these Kamala-nomics does mean a lot, man. Thank you so much. You're keeping the lights on here. Greatly appreciate it. Everybody that's a member of the show, both on Rumble and YouTube, I really do appreciate that, you guys. Honestly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you, thank you, thank you. We also have here CNN's Jake Tapper revolted by a couch sex-involved gross smear of Trump VP pick. What happened to We Got High? So just the smearing campaign of J.D. Vance is remarkable.
Because there's this, I'm hesitant to even bring it up, but there's this gross online smear about J.D. Vance involving it is because Governor Walsh made a reference to it during his introduction speech yesterday.
And I got to tell you, I can't wait to debate the guy. That is, if he's willing to get off the couch and show up. So.
A clear reference to this gross smear. So, I mean, whatever happened to Michelle Obama's when they go low, we go higher?
I think Democrats have abandoned that a long time ago. Look, I get it. Politics is a brutal sport. This is like a boxing match, and we're trying to see if we can get the knockout first, and they're trying to do the same. And let's see what happens in November, Jake. But I'm not surprised by it.
What do you think?
I love.
Remember when they were like, oh, we need to tone down the rhetoric, we need to change things? Look, I'm going to give the guy kudos, though. It was a good line. Now, do I like it? No, because it's a punch to J.D. Vance's jaw. J.D. Vance could take it right in the jaw. But look, it was a good line. It was a good line. At chat, share, Bald Bradshaw, y'all. Hey, thank you, Lulu. I greatly appreciate it. Man, we got such an awesome community here. I've always said it, you guys. Our community is bar, and there's nothing like it, really. There is nothing like our community that we have here. If you're just watching and you haven't subscribed, it's free. Like hitting the following button on Rumble, it's free. Hitting the subscribe button on YouTube, it's free. Just come and join us, hang out with us in the live chat. We got a lot of regulars. Now, I talked a little bit about this on the onset because there's breaking news of her releasing her, what do you call that? The economic plan. Well, here she is, again, saying that she wants to put in price controls. And like I said, just look at these communist, quasi-socialist nations and see how that works out. So Harris helped spark the crisis 3 years ago when she cast the tie-breaking vote that moved President Joe Biden's American Rescue Plan forward in the United States Senate. Folks, inflation skyrocketed. She contributed to you having 20% increase in prices across the board. And she's going to sit there and say that, oh, well, I had really nothing to do with it. I got everything going on. It's going to be fine. And now she's coming out and is seeking to follow in Joe Biden's footsteps in some way, shape, or form by continuing Joe Biden's policy on blaming corporate greed. It's always everybody else's fault with Democrats. It's never a look in the mirror going, maybe you're the damn fault. Maybe you're the problem. You know what I mean? So she said that it's consumer greed, or corporate greed rather, for the pain that consumers feel when shopping, a cynical and dishonest ploy designed to take advantage of people's emotions. Of course, it's always easier to blame somebody else. So Harris will impose the first ever federal ban on corporate price gouging. It will impose stiff penalties in the food industry. Guess where those penalties just get passed on to? Yes, you and I. Correctamundo. Harris's policy, the first original policy she has rolled out, original. I mean, she stole it from the communists. I mean, it's not that original. She rolled out during her campaign after her first policy was one she stole from Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump, drew instant comparisons to price controls used by the Soviet Union that only temporarily slowed prices but resulting in drastic shortages of food and consumer goods. It's for some reason people just don't want to look back on history to see how certain things unraveled for other countries and see if it's a good idea. An immigrant from communist China responded to Harris's policy by writing on X, "Government-imposed price control is a terrible idea because it makes the economy worse by causing shortages. Everyone who survived socialism, communism knows this. If the store shelves are empty, it doesn't matter how low the government claims the price of bread is." Correct, because nobody's producing it. I mean, it's tiresome. It really is tiresome. A federal ban on price gouging, why didn't anyone think of that before? They did. They did. And you know what? The reason why you don't hear from them is because they starved to death. They died in their communist country. Mao killed like 45 million people. Hey, how come we don't hear from the Jews anymore from the Holocaust that were in the death camps? Because they were exterminated. They were gone. They're ash. They can't speak on behalf of what it looked like to be in Nazi Germany. How come we don't hear from people that were in bread lines? I just can't do this, man. How come we don't hear from people that starved to death? I'm not laughing at the idea of starving. I'm laughing at the idea that you're just you know, when something like so preposterous, like maybe you have a friend that said something so crazy, or maybe even a child or whoever, it's so outlandish that all you could do is it just takes your breath away. You just go, Jesus. Like, It's almost like you don't even want to bother with it because it's so crazy. That's how I felt right there. I'm like, whoa. Remember Bernie Sanders said that bread lines were good? He's part of the Democrats, yeah. He said bread lines were good. I swear I'm not even making that up. There's a video of it, or it's in an article, one or the other. So here she goes, that she's going to brag about the Inflation Reduction Act, that she broke the tie. She's in front of all the Democrats' faces. Let this one sink in, you guys. I can't believe this. I'm going to hold it together here because it actually is funny. She's bragging about destroying all their finances to their faces. Talk about a freaking one-up on them. And they're like, yeah, hell yeah. Watch this.
2 years ago, as vice president, I was proud to cast the tie-breaking vote that sent the bill that gave Medicare the power to negotiate and let it get to the president's desk. And I was proud when our president, Joe Biden, signed that bill into law.
You guys, I told you they're not there. Yo, it didn't reduce inflation at all. We all got reamed. We still are. There's a reason why people are saying prices are too high, things are bad. And they're like, hell yeah, woo! Jeez. Oh my God. The times we live in, it's never been greater in politics, let me tell you. An entire sea of people, fuck yeah, high inflation, grocery prices I can't afford. Just cheering it on. She's bragging about it in front of them. Talk about your own nominee just playing into your pure ignorance and stupidity. She's basically calling all those people stupid. Oh, and it doesn't stop there. Oh, no. It's going to get crazy. So these people are there, right? And she goes, no senior should have to choose between either filling their prescription or paying their rent. And they're like, hell yeah, fuck yeah. You guys, rent has increased 30%. Premiums rose 20% last year. And she's sitting there doing this in front of all of them, treating them like idiots.
We believe deeply. Every senior in our nation should be able to live with security, stability, and dignity. And so in the United States of America, no senior should have to choose between either filling their prescription or paying their rent.
She's gonna fix it. Get out of here. They actually believe that. She can just fix it now. Again, she can just, why are you waiting till November? Just fix it now if you really cared. Thank you, Robert. Greatly appreciate it. Robert, for $2. Thank you so much, man. Again, I really do appreciate that. That's your hard-earned money. You guys work for that, and you're giving it over here. It goes directly back into the show. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. We got a lot of Patriots donating today. Thank you so much, guys. Again, if you want, you don't feel like you have to, if you want to check out the membership, it's 99 cents a month. Yeah, 0.99. That is correct. The 99-cent store didn't even survive. But it's just so you guys get badges and be a part of the community. So 99 cents a month. So that's there for you. Just want people to feel involved is all. Now there's this thing that she did as well. This is because the media's trying to reinvent her, you guys. They're trying to make it seem like, oh, she didn't say all these things. That's why we're bringing them up. She said, we have to help people get through a hard time. We can't have a country and policies that let people fall through the cracks. Like the Inflation Reduction Act, like people, I don't know, not able to pay their rent and their grocery bills and couldn't afford a bell pepper like we saw from the lady yesterday. You mean like that?
We got to help people get through a hard time. We can't have a country and policies that let people fall through the cracks.
Yeah. That's exactly what she did, though, for 3 years with Biden. And Democrats like, oh, God, she's a miracle worker. Look what she's doing for us. Now, how can people vote for Trump? She's going to change this country to being better. She's the first black woman ever. She's going to solve inflation. She's going to solve the border. She's going to solve Ukraine. She's going to solve the terrorist problem. She's going to solve the sex trafficking. She's going to solve the increase in prices. She's going to solve energy. She caused all of those things I just listed out. No, she's going to fix it. She's the greatest thing ever. It's like, come on, dude. It's crazy. Thank you, Deborah. I love you guys being here. Look at all the nice stuff you guys are saying. You guys are too nice to me. Deborah, she says, love the show. Thank you so much. I see you guys in the chat. I really do. Like I said, just because I'm ranting and raving and screaming into the mic doesn't mean I see it. Like Snarf right here says, I want to take care of the entire human race. There you go. There you go. I see you guys in there. PT302 said, all we need is laughter plus love. This will help to get us plus through reelecting President Trump. Yeah. Sometimes you got to laugh at it. If you just get pissed off all the time, life's going to be miserable. So check out this clip from Kamala Harris versus your health care. Don't worry, she's going to fix health care, right? Prescription drugs, all those things. No, she said so. Why she didn't do it for the last 3.5 years, plus when she was a senator for California and all those things, I don't know. You got to ask Democrats that. I'm not a Democrat.
Who here would abolish their private health insurance in favor of a government-run plan?
Oh, weird. She had her hand raised. Oh.
So for people out there who like their insurance, well, they don't get to keep it?
Let's eliminate all of that. Let's move on. I give credit to Bernie Sanders for starting a very important discussion.
As a principle, you mean, not Bernie Sanders' bill?
I support the bill.
Okay.
I support the bill.
Well, the bill gets rid of private insurance.
And I am proud to co-sponsor it.
If you're getting insurance from GM, from your employer, you will not be able to keep that, correct?
You will have 10 years to transition.
There is no formula for this. That you are going to find money in magical ways is not realistic thinking.
If you get it from your employer and you have different options, her plan takes it away.
You guys, that should be terrifying to all of you. But she's not radical. She's not. I mean, she says she's radical, but the media are reinventing her. She's normal, you guys. She's a moderate Democrat. She's going to do this or that. No, she's not. She's playing into the hands of everything. So Trump is turning his focus to grinding Harris down by highlighting her disastrous record, which is good on Trump. I think Trump did hit a little bit of a roadblock because I think it kind of blindsided him that Joe Biden dropped out, and it blindsided me too. I think it blindsided everybody a little bit. So I like the fact that Trump is coming out and doing these types of things. And I'll tell you why. It's phenomenal debate prep for him to keep reiterating all these things that she wants to do that are terrible for the country, all the things she said in the past. The more you could speak about it, the more you're going to know it. It's kind of like this. If you don't know something, but then you study it and then you teach it, you're going to know it really, really well. In the same way here, this is great debate prep. And this is why I like Donald Trump going out there. Some people don't like it, but I don't think he does much prep behind the scenes. And because he's able to get by for so long without doing much debate prep, he can't do that this time. He can't afford to get his ass kicked. We need him there, man. So I'm hoping if anybody on the Trump team watches this, please, for the love of God, make sure this guy's doing debate prep, because he's not going to walk in and wipe the floor clean with Kamala Harris. It's not going to happen. It's going to be razor thin. I hope he does. I hope I'm wrong. But he can't walk in there going, you're sick, you're disgusting, Kamala. No, he needs to hit her with her stuff and her policy. He needs to keep it together, not attack her looks, not attack her doing anything. He needs to just sit there and do what he did best during the Biden debate.
Now Kamala is reportedly proposing communist price controls. She wants price controls. And if they worked, I'd go along with it too, but they don't work. They actually have the exact opposite impact and effect. But it leads to food shortages, rationing, hunger. Now Kamala is reportedly proposing.
I was going to take a sip of my coffee, but I cut Mr. 45 off, hopefully Mr. 47. He's not done yet. He goes on and on here, and not in a bad way. This was a great press conference. I mean, this is what a press conference looked like. Democrat, if you're curious what a press conference looks like, because I know you haven't seen one yet from Kamala Harris, well, just take a gander at an actual president and the way he looks and how he handles things. This is great.
She's running on the Maduro plan. We call it the Maduro plan, like something straight out of Venezuela or the Soviet Union. This announcement is an admission that her economic policies have totally failed and caused really a catastrophe for our country, and beyond that, a catastrophe in the world. She's running on the Maduro.
I love that. He's calling her out. But the thing is that he needs to hold on to this for the debate. Here's the problem. And we said this yesterday. The problem with the debate is Kamala Harris is being wise. She's not doing any press conferences. The DNC is coming up, I think, next week, the beginning of next week. She'll do a press conference after. But the time between her press conference of her releasing all this information and the first debate is razor thin. It's really short. It's not going to give Donald Trump a lot of time to prep on what she switched on. And so he's going to say, well, you were for this before. And she's like, well, Donald, don't you remember? Don't you remember what I said just last week? and she's going to play into his age. You guys, there's a lot of problems that can be had here for Donald Trump. Please understand, I am for the man. I love the man. I'm going to vote for the man. But we need to be aware of some shady stuff the Democrats are going to do against this guy. They're not dumb in terms of strategy. They're dumb in terms of running the country. So here's Mr. 45 again.
Kamala's been promising on day one, I'll do this. And for basically 4 years, she's promised this day one. Yeah. What will you do on day one to turn this country around?
So she is saying when she gets in, she's in now. And especially with Biden, because, I mean, he's not in the best of shape. But you know what? She's in there now. She can do anything she wants. And she's still saying, if you elect me, I'll do this, I'll do... Why didn't she do it? Here's my one question. It's the easiest question. Because she complains about everything. Why didn't she do it? That's all I ask. On day one, we're going to drill, baby, drill, and we're going to close the border, and we're going to let people come in, but they're going to come in legally. They're going to come into our country legally. But on day one, we're going to do many things. You know, I can do a lot of things at one time. But the question's often is, what's the first thing you're going to do? I would say we have a tie. We're going to close the border. We're going to stop the millions of people coming in, and we're going to take all of the criminals that have come in, and we know every one of them. I know. And the local police know better than anybody else. They're going to work with us. I've spoken to a lot of the sheriffs, every police, virtually every law enforcement group in America has endorsed Trump. I don't think anybody's endorsed Kamala. Not one. I don't think anybody's endorsed him. And you know that better than anybody. In Florida, all over California, they've endorsed me. We have the relationship I have with law enforcement. And these are great people and people that we have to really cherish and respect and let them.
And by the way, getting rid of the criminals is also protecting our law enforcement, and law enforcement get that. We're big proponents of law enforcement here. If you guys see an officer at a Starbucks or something doing reports in their vehicle, offer them food. If you got the finances, say, hey, I'd love to buy you a cup of coffee. I always do that. At the very least, if they say no, because a lot of times they do, I'll shake their hand and say, hey, I appreciate it. My grandfather was law enforcement, CHP. My dad was CHP. Like, if you want a cup of coffee, I'd really love to buy you anything you want, even a meal. So make sure you support them. Take care of them, folks. They love that stuff. And you know what? Our military as well. If you see a military personnel, just buy them a lunch or something like that and take care of them. And speak of military personnel, folks, you got to check out these military night vision tech released to the public, man. It is freaking sick. You have military night vision. Their partners of TACRITE are giving night vision binoculars at 50% off today. You got PT3OT salivating at the mouth hearing about these night vision goggles, baby. Are you, or you have to visit TACRITEnightvision.com. I want to make sure I get that right. TACRITEnightvision.com and claim your 50% off today, folks. Wild discount. Visiting the page today automatically activates your discount. Similar military devices sell for like $4,000. However, TACRITE was able to make similar technology available to the public just for under $200. So you're getting 50% off. These things are flying off the shelves. Last time it got released on Rumble, it sold out in 3 months to get it back in stock. So that's why we haven't seen them for a while. Order today and it will ship out in 24 hours from New York. Get your night vision today, folks. Get those scopes out. Make sure you're prepared. And if you notice a lot of stuff we sit there and we have sponsors with, it's for if doomsday happens, because who the hell knows what's going to happen if Kamala Harris is put in office. You got Iranians working with the Russians, working with the Chinese, working with the North Koreans. They call it the axis of evil. Folks, we could see some serious stuff here. Well, I will say that is the end of today's episode. We made it through another week of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris destroying this country. We need Mr. 45, hopefully 47 back in office, folks. If you appreciated the show, and you think we deserve your subscription, hit that like and subscribe button. Feel like you don't have to, but we would love to see you back here next week, Monday, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, in the live chat with us. Like I said, we got a lot of comedians, well, you guys are comedic, I will say that. We got a lot of patriots, a lot of people that love this country in that chat. They're regulars, are always here with us, and we really would. We would love to see you in here and engaging with one another. And ask any of them. They have a great time. They're always here, and that's why I know all of their names. And with that being said, folks, thank you so much. Have a blessed weekend. Pray for this country. And I will see you, here tomorrow for some sprinkling of politics on the Will Brad Show. Take care, Patriots.